Beacons are one of the most complicated blocks to get. And making a fully AFK farm for them was impossible until now. Because new mechanics added in 1.21 allow a truly AFK beacon farm to be possible in single player. It requires farms for so many different items, a complex chestboat minecart system that goes through dimensions, and finally the most vital component, the crafter, to put every item together. Now I already have a nether perimeter containing a gold farm and a wither skull farm, but I'm gonna have to modify those if I want them to work as part of a beacon farm. So we'll start with the wither skulls. Currently, the mobs go through this portal and then come out of this one where I can defeat them and get their heads. But because I can't be all the way up here hitting them for the beacon farm, I need them to be taken out without a player. But there's just one problem. If they die from natural causes, like fall damage, then they will never drop a wither skull. So we're stuck, right? Wrong. Because we can use a man's best friend, a dog. Yep, but when a tamed wolf takes out one of these, there's a 2.5% chance that a head will drop. So I'm going to switch off this machine and fly away so that all of the mobs will despawn, and then I can start making all of the necessary changes. So this right here is the spot that the mobs are going to land, and the wolves will be on these slabs to take them out. Now to build the chute upwards so that it connects to there, and I'm going to put lava here and here to push any of them that try to get to this bit into the middle. Trapdoors are the next thing that are going to be needed. And I'm going to change it so that these corners that have the turtle eggs are actually going to have wither roses instead. That way, any pigmen that try to get to the eggs will just be taken out. And then new mobs will be able to spawn. Next, I'm going to build a little item sorter so that I'll be able to transport all the wither heads and the coal over there. And then any excess items like bones or swords will just get burnt in the lava. And it is now almost done. I just need a couple of wolves to spend their entire life in there. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm going to breed you. None of you are actually going to have to do that. But your offspring, on the other hand, well, they won't be so lucky. At the very least, when you grow up, I will give you wolf armor. I can't do it at the moment. And to speed up the process, I'm going to give you both a load of pork chops. And that is one dog fully grown, and also the other one too. So let's get you in position first, and then you as well. Welcome to your nice little home, guys. I'm going to add wither roses in case any blaze fall down. Like that, apparently. But yeah, this just easily gets rid of them. The item filters are set. What on earth? I just was trying to get some coal, and I got a head from him. What are the chances? Didn't even want a head. Also, I think apparently because my dogs are sat down, they're not attacking him. You guys are useless. Instead, I just need coal for in there. And then I need to unsit both of you. And now they're both on their job. Just look at them go. And so that means that the wolf-powered wither skull farm is done. Also, completely forgot to give the wolves their armor. I guess it doesn't matter now. Instead, I'll just put them all in a chest outside the dugouts. Yeah, that'll do. I could put you guys inside, but it's time you got a bit tougher as well. And that's the first of the farms done. 2 components down. And so the next 2 items I need to focus on are obsidian and soul sand. And also on a quick side note, don't forget to grab a 9,000 days poster from SP737.store. They're limited edition, and they're all signed by hand by me. The link's at the top of the description. But yeah, now we need to make it so that some of the gold that is fed from this farm, which eventually ends up going along this conveyor belt and into this storage system, well, that gold needs to automatically get bartered to piglins to get me the soul sand and obsidian. Now, I could try and use this system here, but it goes through a portal. It's gonna kind of mess up the whole bartering farm I've already got. And at the moment, this farm right here is constantly turning all that gold into gold blocks. So I'm going to try and get a few new piglins that will take some of the gold, and in return give me back all the items that I need. So I'm going to try and get some to spawn on this platform right here, which apparently is very, very easy. We've even got a guy on top of a portal. Now we just lure them along. I think if I've got 2, that's going to be enough. The wither skull is going to be the slowest part of the farm. I don't have to worry too much about obsidian or soul sand being a limiting factor. Now, in times gone by, getting these guys down would have been a little bit annoying, but now all I need to do is grab a lead, attach it to the boat, and I can just safely send them down. Well, I say that. It doesn't seem there was enough space for a boat, and I accidentally killed one of them. And the other one just died to my thorns. Right, okay, back to the drawing board. I'll start by breaking even more of the bedrock. Then I'll capture 2 more piglins, name tag them, and drag them along. Next, they can actually fit down the hole this time. Oh, okay, don't die again. Thankfully, they are okay. And I'm going to build a nice little bartering farm right here that takes the gold nuggets from this farm, turns them into ingots at a crafter, and then we'll give it to the piglins. So the piglins stand here, and every time they pick up the gold, it dispenses a new one from the dropper. And then we use this bit of redstone to filter out the soul sand and obsidian. Next, I'm going to put a dropper right here, and a trail of hoppers leading into it, so that the excess can be sent through to the main bartering storage. Which is this one right here. Yep, we don't want to be wasting anything. Just need this guy to get in. He's been a bit of a pain. There we go. And that is that bit complete. And now I do need to slightly modify this setup. And that way, any gold that's crafted then goes into this little dropper. And when I press this button now, in theory, yep, they'll just keep bartering at it. And then if they haven't bartered it, the gold will just wait. I quickly just added a little bit of redstone around the back, so if it does run out of gold, but an ingot comes through this hopper, the machine will still work fine. And with that all sorted, the next thing that I need to focus on is the sand and glass. And unfortunately, that is going to be the hardest part. Because whilst it is possible to renewably get glass by repeatedly trading with a librarian, that's not fully AFKable. That's not going to make it a true farm. That requires player input. And so the only way to renewably get sand without the player having to do anything is to use a gravity block duper. Now, I do already have one of these at this portal right here. But this machine here is not going to work because I need it to be working whilst I'm not in the area. Which means I'll have to build one in the overworld, which is loaded by a chunk loader. That part isn't going to be too tricky. It's just how you actually get the sand to the player that is going to be an absolute nightmare. Everything I'm going to need is right here. And I now need to find the closest stronghold to all of these farms. That'll just make everything 10 times easier going down the line. According to the Hive Ender, it is somewhere down here. Yep, perfect. Straight in. And I've found the portal room too. Now, first things first, I need to activate the portal so it's usable, like that, and then destroy this staircase. Next, we need to get rid of these end portal blocks. Very, very difficult indeed. You've just got to place a mushroom and grow it, and then it, yeah, it'll destroy them for you. Then I've set my respawn point here. I'm just going to head on through, and I believe right here is where the collection system is going to need to be for all of the sand. The redstone for this build is relatively straightforward. It's basically just a cycle of sticky pistons and slime blocks being pushed and extended. As you can see, just kind of goes round and round like that. Then I can turn the machine off, add 3 leaves right here as the finishing touch. And now when I add my sand, the machine will be complete. And there we go. It is working. I do still need to build a chunk loader here, but if we head on through and add some blocks right here, that is where the sand should go. So, only one way to find out. And, yep, as you can see, there's loads of it here. And so my plan is to have a big system of hoppers all going along like this. And this is where the collection bit itself will take place. The sand gets flung in here, and the buttons will make sure it turns into an entity. The hoppers pick it up, and under here there's going to be a load of hoppers facing downwards. Next, I'm going to add a bit of a minecart track that goes along, and it actually goes along underneath these hoppers. Why is that the case? You'll find out later. But in my opinion, it's a very cool method. I've never used it in a build before, so I'm quite looking forward to seeing how it works. And I came up with the idea all by myself. Yeah, probably going to go wrong. And now I need to focus on making 2 portals. One for the chunk loader, which is going to be right here. It's taking me smack bang into my perimeter. That's kind of cool. Although I actually want it to be above the bedrock. And then the other one is going to be the portal that I come through on a minecart. The design for the chunk loader is fairly simple. I've built it quite a few times before. If you go like this, you get a hopper minecart underneath. Then you send a minecart through and add fire, which burns them, and then makes the chunk loader fully functional. And I will need to build minecart tracks everywhere and link a few more portals to make everything link together and work correctly. But before I do that, I want to build the Wither Killer. It's a machine that, as I load up with soul sand, will automatically spawn withers and then automatically take them out for me as well, getting me nether stars. And that is almost everything in these 2 shulkers, but I am missing one very special item. Bedrock. Yes, this is one of the first times that the bedrock farm that I built is actually useful. Strictly speaking, you do not need bedrock to make this farm. You can make it without having bedrock items. And if you want to know how I have bedrock items, I built a bedrock farm quite a few videos ago. Just search Bedrock Farm SP737 into YouTube and you'll be able to find it. But the reason we need bedrock is to trap the wither in the Wither Killer. So you'd normally have to build the machine somewhere up here under a good bit of bedrock. However, because I can place my own bedrock, that allows me to be a little bit more flexible and build the machine anywhere that I want. So this is the position that the player is going to be stood, placing down the soul sand, and the wither will be defeated below me. So I'll start with the storage at the bottom, and then start adding all of the redstone as I work my way upwards. The design for this automatic wither killer is actually by Razeworks, and is actually a part of the beacon farm that he designed. I've taken a lot of inspiration in the methods needed, but my farms are completely different. They're in different ways. And the way that I'm going to be getting the sand and glass are completely different as well. He just used a second account to load the end. I'm going to have to use minecarts and moving the player and stuff because I'm in a single-player hardcore world on my own. But yeah, his video on it all was very useful in helping me to work stuff out. I'm going to place 24 minecarts on this rail here, which will then damage the wither faster due to entity cramming. Finally, there'll be a hopper minecart to collect the star. I can break this block so they all land on the wall, and then use pistons to push a block into it. Now, to spawn-proof a bunch of stuff using slabs, add in the hopper minecart system that will evenly distribute out the wither skulls into these 3 dispensers. Next, I can extremely carefully add the bedrock in. Do not misplace this. It'll be a nightmare to get rid of it. But it is this bedrock which will trap the wither. The final piece goes in the center. And as I said, you can find this bedrock formation at the nether roof. But in using the bedrock that I've already got, it allows me to build my wither killer wherever I need to. This little redstone system here is going to be what pushes the soul sand down and to the side as I place it. And as I said earlier, this is where the player is going to be sat AFK, placing down soul sand like that. And as you can see, automatically pushes it down for you. And at that point, we're getting pretty close. But I think the most complicated part for me is still ahead, which is where I have to move the player around to get the sand from the end, and then get it to this machine where it can be smelted into glass and crafted with the nether star. I'm not going to quite have enough hoppers to do it, but I need to connect all of these to the wither skeleton farm so that the skulls can go down there. Shouldn't be too difficult of a problem to solve though. Just need to craft a load of hoppers, and then the remaining ones can nicely be added in. The composters are here purely to reduce lag, and they make sure that nothing can go into the hoppers that shouldn't be in them. I'll bring the coal across when I've worked out where I'm going to put the sand. As you can see, we've already got 16 skulls here. Now, as you can see, I can put 22 items in this hopper. Nothing happens, but when I put the 23rd item in, the minecart hopper will move, it'll pick up 3 of them, and distribute them evenly across the hoppers, 1 in each dispenser. This only happens every time the total reaches 23, and it just means that each dispenser gets an even amount. Otherwise, the machine would break because, like, this would be more full than the other 2. You know what I mean? It would just be a problem. I've covered all these in glass just to make sure that none of them can set on fire from, like, stray blaze and stuff, because I tend to just shoot fireballs every now and again when I'm not watching, and I don't want anything burning up. And I'm now going to distribute out a few more of the wither skeleton skulls, and then I want to test out the wither killer. Want to test out and see if it works. So I stand here and place soul sand, and in theory it should keep, and it spawns a wither. Okay, as you can see now, I can still keep holding it, and now it's maxed out. But down at the bottom, as you can see, a wither is spawning. There we go. It's just happened. It's blowing up, and it is dying. And as you can see at the top, it is dying very, very fast. The bedrock is blocking its view. The very top one as well means that it can't escape. It can't see anything, and it looks to be working perfectly. There we go. It dies. Now, I'm pretty sure it is probably going to spawn another one. Yeah, that is just because I maxed out the soul sand up there. That's why it spawned another one. I don't think it'll do another one after this. Once again, it will die. And because now it has run out of soul sand, and I'm not, you know, up there holding right click, putting more in, it is going to stop. I also like the fact that the machine has a comparator here, and it detects if it's empty. So if it's empty, the machine will not spawn a wither, or it won't try and spawn a wither, which means the machine won't break. And down at the bottom here, as you can see, the nether star's going there. So we've already got the AFK nether star farm done, but now I just need to link it all together and build the minecart track that's going to let me get the sand from the end into the farm. This is probably the most complicated bit, so I'll get busy grabbing the materials. I should have everything I need across the shulker boxes, but I will also need a minecart and a chest boat. Yes, we're going to make use of an oak boat with a chest. You'll soon see why. It's actually quite a cool mechanic. It's pretty much the main way that we're going to be able to get the sand back. And the best place to start this entire track is going to be from the end, because we're going to be putting this chest boat inside of a minecart. And if you're riding the boat and the minecart is carrying you, it makes some really weird behavior. So let's jump in, and basically it's automatically going to push me backwards. That's like going to be the first thing it does, which is what? Okay, well, we don't want to do that, do we? Okay, well, RIP to the minecart and chest boat. But yeah, when a player is riding a chest boat inside of a minecart and you exit the track, you automatically get pushed in a certain direction. And when you enter an end portal, it resets all your alignments and pushes you backwards. So that is why I built the track here. I now need to make sure that we stay on the track. And I also need to make sure that this track goes all the way up to the end portal. And when I go through the end, I'm going to end up at the player's spawn point, which because I broke my bed, it's taken me to spawn. But if I then set my spawn point to my bedroom and go through the portal, as you know, it takes me to my bedroom. However, if I ride on my little minecart chest boat, what on earth's going on there? But yeah, if I ride on my little minecart chest boat contraption and head through the portal, it always takes me to the world spawn point and the center of that, which is this granite block right here. But this is my concrete farm. I don't really want to end up in here. So what I can do is place a block way higher up. And it'll be this block that I spawn on, and the minecart will automatically move me in a certain direction. I think it's going to be that direction, but I'm not 100% sure, so we're going to test it. It's kind of crucial that I get all this testing correct, otherwise everything will go wrong. And I still, to this day, why is there a sheep in the nether? And what are you doing here? There's not even any iron here. This is the old iron farm. Yeah, you don't belong here. I wonder... Oh, don't go out there, because there is only death. Speaking of death, how are you two dogs getting on? Do you want a bit... Do you need healing at all? Nope, you don't. You don't. No. Wait. Do not have a baby. I can't... Okay. Where is he? I know. Oh, he's in there. It's his face. All right. You follow me, little fella. Yeah, you will never know your parents, and you will forever watch them from afar. It's like a sad story, isn't it? These can watch their child from all the way over here. They know he's there, but they can never be with him. Yeah. Well, anyway, you were bred to work. Yes, I know I'm the villain in this story. But anyway, back to testing with the minecarts. We head through this portal. As you can see, it's completely foolproof. I may expand that wall a little bit just for safety purposes. And when we head through here... Okay, we go on a bit of a weird diagonal. Good to know. So I'm pretty sure that if from here we had the rails going along like that, then it should work well. I'm also going to make a portal right here that connects with the chickens. Okay, guys, I'm going to be honest. We don't really need this chicken farm anymore, so be free. Quite possibly the best news we've ever had. The nether chickens. There's just eggs everywhere out here, isn't it? What a mess. Oh, and going back through... takes me into the chicken farm, not a chicken killing machine, yeah. Oh, well, it should be okay, because we're actually only going one way through this system anyway. And I've just realized, because the boat is automatically getting pulled in this direction because the portal has done that to it, I don't actually need powered rails. It will literally push itself, which is a pretty cool thing, really. I'll add a few at the end just for good measure. And the other thing I've realized is that there must be 15 seconds from exiting the end portal to there to going through the next nether portal. I'm not sure if this is going to be long enough. No worries, if not, I'll just move the portal further away. I'll do a little timing test. It might be okay. And there's only one way to find... Oh, okay, I just crashed. As I was saying, there's only one way to find out. And that is to give it a bit of a test drive. So far, so good. Go straight onto the minecart track. And the moment of truth. Nope, it's not long enough. So just give me a second. I'll expand the glass bridge, add a load more rails, and a portal. Then I can do test run number 2. And this time, worked perfectly. We're straight onto the minecart track. And I can start placing all these down to make a track that is 900 blocks long. Yeah, quite long, isn't it? And it's especially long when you run out of rails too. So after crafting a load more, I can get back to placing. And before I add in all the rails, I'm just going to double check that there's going to be enough momentum to carry me all along the rails like I'm doing here. And here we go. Yeah, so far it's moving. I haven't actually added in any powered rails though, which might be an issue. Although by the looks of it, it's working okay. Yeah, it's managed all right around there. It's quite an exciting minecart track this, because you got to think, I'm going to be AFK this entire time whilst it's pushing me along. Very cool concept indeed, and we easily made it to the end of the minecart track. So it is back to placing rails. I've worked out that this spot right here is probably the ideal place for me to fall down, because if I fall down like somewhere over here, I'll end up landing on top of the fortress farm. So yeah, that's not going to be good. I'd much rather go around it than destroy it. So it is time to do a little bit of bedrock breaking. Will this work with red concrete? I've no idea. I know it works with cobblestone. Don't know about red concrete. And the answer is... yes, it does work with red concrete. And I believe this is the final one to break the needed bedrock to fall down. And because the plane moves a little bit weirdly when not attached to minecart tracks, and they can literally fly anywhere when in midair, I'm going to build a nice safe glass tube that goes all the way up to the top. And then from down here, the player will come along, drop down another glass tube, and land right here where they'll be placing the soul sand. And then when the player is ready to move from here, I'm going to have it where this piston retracts, and it should go onto the minecart and then take me on a full loop again. In my opinion, this is a fantastic plan, but it's only a fantastic plan if it works. So let's take it on a proper test run. We have already tested all this, and yeah, so far this bit all works perfectly. But now we're moving into uncharted territory. These have to be powered rails because the minecart automatically wants to try and move backwards. So if I didn't have these, I would literally go back. And now it's the fall down part. Okay, that's worked. I am worried about fall damage, but I'm in a boat, so I don't think I'll take any. We're about to find out anyway. So, okay, we did take fall damage. I'll have to try and rectify that. But then it does pull me backwards. We fall again, and we land right here. And just as a little test, if I flick the lever, we automatically move back. Oh, it's brilliant. It all works. To combat fall damage, I'm just going to place down rails. And now I just need to connect this minecart track to this portal. And from here, I'm very excited to say that I can just complete the circuit. And it's now time to take the entire thing for a test drive. I know that all of this bit works, so I'm not too worried about that. And the same for this section of the nether. I no longer take fall damage when I fall down here, which is very, very good. Should be the exact same for this one. Yep, nice and safe. And we're in new territory now. Because it's pulling me backwards, we can go up there, no problem. We need powered rails, though, to go in the opposite direction. Then we've got this nice little helter-skelter thing up and round and across. I don't believe it, guys. I think it's going to work. My only worry is the final portal. I might be facing the wrong way. Let's see what happens. Yeah, okay, so that's literally the only thing to worry about. And all I'm going to do to fix that is run the minecart around here like so. I'm pretty sure that should make it work. But I'll have to do another test run just to be sure. And moment of truth. Okay, yep, it worked absolutely fine. And we could go around the entire cycle again. Oh, okay, hold on. It didn't work absolutely fine. Clearly, after that, the momentum of the minecart changes, which means we need to account for that. I reckon that ought to do it. There's literally nowhere to go but down there. And now to complete the system that allows me to get the sand from the duper back home. No matter what happens, you have to bring a player here to load in the end, because when you send something through the end dimension, it only loads the chunks up to about here. So you cannot transport them using water or anything all the way to the middle unless you were loading it with another player. That's why we've had to bring the player through. And I thought of a really cool way to actually transport the sand once the player is here is to use the chest boat. Yes, you see, if there is sand in the hoppers, we'll just put andesite in, and there's a chest boat underneath. Notice how it picks up the items. So I'm thinking if I waterlog every single one of these rails, it should in theory slow the player down enough to collect up a bunch of sand. And this storage is going to get filled up pretty quick because it's just going to be running all the time thanks to the chunk loader. So I'm going to make it so that any excess sand goes into this dropper. And then thanks to this redstone, it'll dispose of it. So I'll just put one item through like that so that it resets. Add in some lava. And it is done. Yeah, those are the measures I'm taking to make sure that there's not going to be any lag. And I've absolutely no idea how much sand the player is going to get from going through this. I think, yeah, it will fill up very, very fast, as I've said, thanks to the sand duper running when the chunk loader is active. But just to get an actual idea of how much sand I'm going to end up with, I'm going to use the powered rails as a guide and see how many the chest boat picks up, okay? So we very slowly go through it. It's not that slow, is it? Okay. And then, oh, it's pushed me out as well. Alrighty, that's a slight problem. Come back now. I want to know how many's in the chest boat. The answer is 24. That's got to be not enough for sure. And I definitely don't want the player being pulled out. So I shall just make a few little tweaks. You see, because the chest boat's hitbox is larger than an entire block, you will see it is still picking up items even when it is not directly underneath the hopper, even though when it's to the side. Yeah, it's, well, can I even get into it? I don't think I could because of the water, but anyway, it was still picking up the items. And so by having a bit of a minecart system like this, I should pick up about 3 times as much as I did before. At least in theory, that'll be the case. Let's see. Yeah, already we've got quite a bit. Maybe not quite 3 times as much, but... Okay, it's pushed me out because of the stupid water. But we got 46, okay? That's a little bit more respectable. And then if I just make this quite a lot longer, then that should increase the sand I get even more. And it's all well and good having the sand, but I now need to build the bay that unloads the sand and turns it into glass. So if I'm in my boat up here, the hopper minecart will pull it from the boat and put it in this hopper. And as long as there are a few stacks of sand in the machine, I'm happy. And so yeah, that comparator detects it and keeps this piston extended. If we need more sand, this piston will retract and we will go back to the end. I'm kind of just making this up as I go along, but I tell you what, it is working, isn't it? And now I can take a bit of blackstone from the bartering farm and turn that into a furnace that the glass will be made in. And so now I just need to make it so that the coal from the wither skeleton farm goes into that furnace. I didn't want to make the furnace all the way down there because I didn't want to have loads and loads of sand stacked up. So I'll build some sort of dropper elevator to get it up there. And I'll connect up all of the hoppers as well. To do this, I'm just going to need a load of droppers, as you might guess. And also some hoppers for the items to go into. This comparator then detects if there's anything in the dropper. This repeater just adds a slight delay, and then the redstone dust allows the observer to detect that signal, and it will send a pulse through all these observers upwards. These observers then detect that, working in a fully functioning item elevator. Okay, well, we've now got coal coming through anyway. Yeah, being the idiot that I am, I built it on the wrong level. It should all be one block lower, because this dropper is just full of coal. Oh my goodness. There is so much coal coming through from the Wither Skeleton farm. There we go. That's much better. And with the extra piece of redstone dust, these items are now going to be sent upwards as long as there's just one in at a time. To slightly improve that, I'm actually going to do this. Now, it'll work no matter what. As you can see, it is sending items upwards. You can probably see better if I go something like this. I put a load of items in. They're all going up. Even if there's just one item in, it will send it up. Amazing. And that means that there's fuel in the furnace. And we've done it. We have farmed every individual item for the beacon. Next, however, I will need to make it so that this soul sand from the bartering goes to my player, who will be sat inside of here. That should be easy enough with a dropper right there. And the same sort of redstone contraption again. And now for the moment of truth. When I connect up these hoppers, there should be soul sand up there. There is. Okay, that works. We can spawn the wither. And so there's not much more I can do. Everything is linked together. I've got the obsidian coming through there. We can get the nether stars perfectly. We can get the glass. But it's not a beacon farm unless it produces beacons. At the moment, it just creates nether stars. And so enters the most powerful block for this, the crafter. Yep, the final piece of the puzzle is to put all these items from the different farms together in this crafter so that we get the beacon. I almost had every needed item in this shulker box, but I also need 3 barrels. So let's grab those and fly all the way back. I am very excited for this to be completed. For one thing, I think it's so cool that you can now build a fully functional beacon farm that's completely AFKable. I think, yeah, that's amazing. And it's so complex. It's taken so many farms. It's taken so much building that I am just really looking forward to seeing it finished. This is where the crafter goes, and it's going to put the beacons in this chest. The 3 barrels are for the 3 different ingredients. And this crafter is actually another nifty little design by Raiseworks, because it automatically detects if you run out of obsidian or glass, which will be in these 2 barrels. And the nether stars will go into this one. So that bit is successfully linked up. You can see if I put any nether stars through it, because there is no obsidian or glass in the machine, it's not going to keep crafting them. Now you'll see it does put them in, which is not good, you might think, but it doesn't matter because nether stars are the slowest part of this farm. And with that, it is done. By putting the correct recipe in here, that ensures that any items that come from their farms go into the correct slots. Right now the auto crafter is turned off, but even if I turn it on by doing this, because there's no obsidian in here and because there's no glass in here, every single one of these torches is on. So there has to be at least a stack of each item for all of these torches to switch off and for the crafter to craft something. And that's how it makes sure that everything stays in the same slot. Clever little system. And because it's set up this way, you don't actually need a stack of nether stars. You can just have a stack of every other item. And then when the nether star goes through this hopper, the crafter activates. This machine is nicely filling up with wither skulls. Thanks to my wolves doing a very good job. Here you go. I'm going to try. Yeah, I'm not going to breed you again. And so to give the machine a head start so I don't have to wait ages for it to craft the beacons, I've added in a stack of every item. And these hoppers are going to fill up because they're going to end up with more items as the other farms work. And from there, I can turn on the sand duper and then begin to test everything out. So straight away, we should pick up some sand. We're not going to pick up that much to start with, though, because the sand duper hasn't quite been running for that long. But I'm not worried about that at all. That's just a temporary thing. And it should still be enough to get the glass started. Now, because we haven't got enough sand in there, we are going round again. Before I go round again, I'm just having to make a slight tweak to the collection system by pushing some glass into that hopper minecart, adding another one on top, and pushing some glass into that as well. And with that done, it is time for take 2. So let's give it a go. Straight away, we've got quite a lot more sand this time, haven't we? And as that machine fills up, we'll get loads more. I've just spent about 40 minutes tweaking and troubleshooting a few things. I'm pretty sure it should all work now. I've almost got everything working. I've just realized that it's too quick coming from that portal to enter the end one. And the easiest fix for that is just to move it further away. I've done quite a few loops on the minecart track and things seem to be working well. The wither skulls are steadily filling up right here. And I'm going to grab some string from my bartering farm, which this observer can look at. And then when I fall down here on my minecart, it will force this to stay closed long enough for the sand in my boat to be emptied. From this now, I pick up a good 36 pieces. That's not bad at all. And with my redstone additions, in theory... Okay, it was a little bit slow. I'll move that up a little bit. And for take 2, you can see I picked up 35. it shut in time, it completely emptied it, and then because the furnace wasn't completely filled up, it's released me to send me back round. However, when I come back round, that's not a problem. I'm going to drop all them off again very quickly. And it may be full now. And what I can also start doing is using the machine. If I have right-click held, it will start doing the whole wither thing. Look at that. They're spawning in. And because I have more than a stack... Okay, well, apparently I don't have enough in. And the other thing I've got to worry about, yeah, is placing down soul sand as I am going around in my minecart. Also, yeah, the wither is getting defeated, not a problem. Are we just placing down loads and loads of soul sand everywhere? Yeah, it seems like it. So, that is the next thing I've got to fix. I knew it would happen. I just kind of wanted to demonstrate it. Yes, the way to fix it, whilst annoying, is you just have to place some sort of block everywhere instead. I'm going to go with glass, but I'm pretty sure something like string would work as well. To say that I had so much string in the bartering farm, maybe I should be using that, but I feel like glass looks better. So that is why I'm using it. I won't need it along here because I'm going to be facing that way. And I still won't need it when I enter the portal. However, from this point, I feel like it will be necessary. And when it comes to the end, I'm not entirely sure because of these hoppers. So I'll just surround them on all sides just in case. I don't think this track here needs anything because I'm going to be facing in this direction the whole time. And for this one, I'm facing that way. The only possible issue would be when I'm going in this direction, I'll probably place it against that. So yeah, I'm going to need a lot of glass and it has to go all the way along this straight line, unfortunately. Or I could be smart about it and connect it by a curve. Yeah, that saves me going all the way down there. And then the final bits is just to fill in there. Okay, I now think this is fully complete. I'm pretty sure he should have already crafted a couple of beacons for me as well. Look at that. We've already got 2 beacons. Plenty of obsidian. There's plenty of glass. It is time for me to use the fully AFK beacon farm. I have to start it off in the stronghold for all the alignment of the minecart boat. And we're off. Now, as far as I'm aware, I am the first person to ever build one of these in single-player survival. The sand farm has got me 35 altogether. Perfect. And I've made it so I'm permanently holding right-click using the F3 and T method. So, no hands needed. I've just done the right-click F3T method. I'm now holding this down. It's offloading the sand. It's spawning in the wither. And it takes out the wither. So then, we can spawn another one. I am not having to do anything. And it gets defeated. I'm going to end up placing down more. It's going to spawn another one in. And for some reason, some soul sand has managed to sneak its way into this hopper, which is causing it not to work properly. And the fix for that is simple enough. I just need to move all this upwards, because now it doesn't get dispensed anywhere near that hopper minecart. Did get a few more beacons there, but of course, we need to make sure we are replenishing the glass, which is why we did have to fix that. Otherwise, it isn't truly a renewable farm, is it? So, we're going to go with take 2. And I also don't know if F3T gets reset when you go through portals, so that is something to try as well. I guess I'll find out shortly. The main thing I want to know is does it send me away when I run out of sand? And the answer is yes. Yes, it does. I have also, unfortunately, still been able to place quite a lot of soul sand, like on the sides of stuff. So to fix that, I'm going to put all of this string to good use. I place string everywhere, as you can see, even here. It's stopping me from placing... Okay, well, apparently there's room for improvement in some areas. But now we are placing the soul sand. It seems to be working okay. And obviously, there's still not enough sand in because I'm taking so long the sand is getting used up. But that's not going to be a problem for very long. Also got stuck in this section because I had glass blocking me from going down. Changed it to string. Now for test take 2. And instead of the F3T method, I've changed my right click to be spacebar. And then I've just put something on my spacebar so that I don't have to do anything. Here we are in position to place the soul sand. Fantastic. So a wither should spawn in theory. And it sends me away because, yeah, there's not enough sand in there. And I just basically keep going round and round. My only worry is that the wither that spawns in again after the one gets defeated, when it gets unloaded, is it going to break the farm? Well, we're about to find out, I suppose. Also, phantoms, they could be an issue. Okay, they did manage to get me. I should probably have some anti-phantom measure at spawn just for safety purposes. Okay, yeah, I've loaded the wither back in and it's been taken out. So the farm just resumes as normal. That's good news. And at this point, I deposit another 35 sand. And I reckon that means I'm actually going to be here for a while now, spawning in withers. Yep, we're not leaving the area and it spawned another one. How did you spawn, by the way? How did that guy spawn? I have no idea where he spawned from. Thankfully, I am safe in here. The beacon farm is working. A fully renewable AFK beacon farm. I'm not touching anything. I'm not going to go away from my keyboard because I don't know. I don't trust that something could go wrong. I don't know what could go wrong, but you don't get to 9,072 days and then risk your world, do you? But yeah, it's working. The beacon farm is actually working and it's replenishing my soul. Oh, fantastic. And apparently we've run out of sand because we're on the move. But we've gone and nicely picked up another 35, which will once again replenish the glass machine. I can start spawning in more withers. And I'm guessing at this point that because the wither isn't spawning, we've run out of wither skulls. Although having said that, no, Wither spawn, maybe it's just dispensed 3 more. That's the beauty of the machine. Everything is running together and it all waits for each other. It's so cool. Like, if one thing's short, it just waits for that to come in and then it goes again. So that Wither's been defeated. A new one's not spawning, but once the Wither skulls are in again, we'll get another one. And look at that. Another Wither is now spawning in because the Wither skulls came in. Oh, it's just brilliant. It all... I know I've already just said it, but it all links together so well. And at this point, I'm not going to keep using the farm. I think I've used it enough. And even when I've stepped away because it was fully loaded with soul sand, another Wither has spawned. Pretty cool. And now for the cool bit. Just look in this chest. 25 beacons. There's about to be another one as well as that nether star comes through. So yes, I've done it. I've created a fully automatic AFK beacon farm. And it is absolutely awesome. I appreciate all the research that Ray's work did into this because that has helped a lot. And earlier when I used the bedrock block to build that farm, I said that there was a video where I managed to renewably farm all of these bedrock items. So click the video on screen right now if you'd like to see that. And if you'd like to see how I managed to farm all of these notch apples, click the other video that is on your screen. And finally, don't forget to grab a signed 9,000 Days poster. They're on sp737.store.